if you could go ahead and introduce yourself again for everybody.
Yes, so my name is Richard Pacheco, and I am the owner of JAC Cleaners out here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Awesome. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Give us some background on yourself.
Born and raised here in Cleveland, Ohio. Grew up on the west side, and now I live in Parma, so a little further south of where I originally started.
Favorite things to do as a kid?
Skateboard. I was an amateur skateboarder for 12 years. Did a bunch of contests, skateboarded everywhere you could possibly think in America, and that was my pastime or video games. It was either one of the two.
What got you to stop skateboarding?
Kids. I had a kid, so I had to stop.
Are you going to teach your kid?
Yeah, I got a couple skateboards for two of my kids. They're a little older, so they seem to like it, but they're afraid to fall. They've been more into BMX or biking a little bit more, so that's our thing. And then baseball. We've been doing a lots of baseball.
That's good stuff. What about when you were younger? When you were skateboarding, playing video games, did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up, or it was just kind of up in the air?
To be honest, I've always wanted to be a business owner. It was just one
Okay.
of those things. I've always wanted to be my own boss, and I thought being a business owner, you would just be rich and wealthy and famous, and that's not the case. You got to build up things quite a bit, but this cleaning business has definitely put me on a good trajectory of where I want to be at.
Absolutely. Anybody in your family a business owner that
No,
you kind of nobody?
no, I'm a first time entrepreneur. I was even the first one to really attempt to go to college, and I didn't even finish college because it wasn't for me. So
I'm right in those shoes with you. First one to go to college and didn't it wasn't my path. So I decided, you know what, just save more money by not taking out any more student loans and
yeah,
try something else.
yeah, I went to college 3 times, one for nursing, one for business, and then one for IT, and, I self-taught myself how to program and develop and design and stuff like that. When I went to college, I knew more than the professor. He made me do all of his projects so he could make a couple bucks off of me. It was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he pay you for it or no?
Yeah, he paid me like 25, 30 bucks an hour, but he was probably charging like 70, 80 bucks an hour on top of it, so,
I mean,
I
everybody wins,
made
but
some money. Yeah, it was
yeah,
fun.
not too
Well,
bad.
you'd think you'd go to college to learn a lot, and it's just so outdated nowadays. It's just sad to see where the education system is went.
Absolutely. That's basically why I ended up leaving because I went to school for business management and every single professor was reading
Yeah,
directly out of the book for the whole class. And the only one who didn't was my business law professor,
wow.
which that was my best grade in out of my all my classes. And I'm like, if I continue to do this and I'm paying 55 grand a year for school, might as well just save the money, buy the books, a couple hundred
Yeah,
bucks off Amazon or eBay, and teach myself.
yeah.
It's no difference.
Imagine trying to learn how to run a business or start a business or maintain a business for someone who doesn't even have a business. That's always been my philosophy too.
And that's exactly what I realized too. Every single professor, not one of them ever owned a business or currently owned a business at that time. The only one who ever practiced in their field was the business law.
Yeah.
So that was it for me. What about you with JAC Cleaners? Let's kind of recap everybody who hasn't seen the original video with you. When did you start JAC?
Um, Formally, the LLC was founded July 12th of 2022. And it was one of those rocky starts, slow start. I wouldn't say rocky. It was a slow start. I'm more of that guy who slow is fast and fast is slow, right? I did things right, set up the foundation, took about a month or two to kind of get it off the ground. And then we had our first paying customer literally August 1st. And we just built the business up from there ever since. So, we started from a couple courses online, couple YouTube videos, couple channels, your BookingKoala education, just to understand like what it exactly is that you guys did. I was like, wow, it's all kind of made sense. So I took a swing at it, bought a course, from some guru online, and I was like, oh, I know a little bit more than this guy. Let me just take it and run with it. And we built a 90 to $100,000 a month cleaning business in less than 12 months. So
we'll rewind that 90 to 100K a month in
Yeah.
under a year.
Yes, right now I'm looking at our reports. We're at $92,800 for the month, and we still can book probably about a good 50 to 75 extra cleans. We'll definitely hit over $100,000 this month.
That is incredible. And you are by yourself, or do you have a partner?
So I am the sole owner, but I have a sales manager in the office now. So we just got this office as well a couple months ago, and then we have 19 cleaners that work for us full time exclusively as 1099 contractors. Um, and yeah, it's just myself running the basic day to day operations, marketing, scheduling, management, and then my sales manager kind of kicking up the commercial side of the business, and doing some like business development, I guess account management, and then like new client acquisition. He's still new. He just started a little over a month ago, so we're building up that side. But he's even brought in about $10,000 in his first month in reoccurring revenue. So, we're looking to keep doing it slow and small pieces, but quickly at the same time, if that makes sense.
That's incredible. What inspired you to start? I mean, you knew since you were a kid that you wanted a business. So I guess what inspired you to start the business, and then why a cleaning service?
I've always wanted, so I've ran a couple other businesses, right? So I've ran a website development company, kind of like a digital marketing and website development company, that type of thing. I did car rentals. I have a couple exotic cars, not really too exotic, a couple luxurious, sports cars. I rented those out, it did all right. I started an Amazon business. I mean, we did 20, $30,000 a month in like less than 3 months, but the margins on Amazon are treacherous. It's and fees like crazy. I would never recommend anyone doing anything like that. But it was just trying to kind of mesh all of my ideas and all of my skill sets and what I'm good at all in one system, right? Something that's one burn and turn, right? You go to a house, you clean it, it's one and done. There's not obviously the reoccurring clients is butter on the cake, but kind of it's very fast paced, it's very transactional, and it's very easy to service someone's house, do a good job, and never hear from the client again, unless God forbid the cleaners did a bad job or they did a really good job and you sign them up on a reoccurring client. But it's very transactional, and I like that to where it's kind of like a mixture of e-commerce and account management at the same time. It's you can manage the clients from your computer at home essentially. We built a business up to about 60 to 80K a month off working from home. You know what I mean? That's what I did, and then just to try to keep scaling it. But it was a home based, remote, easy to manage, easy to scale type of business that where you can literally put your sales cap on, your marketing cap on, your operations cap on all at once and just build something amazing.
So you got a 60 to 80K per month before you got the office, because you just got the
Yeah.
office. So
Yeah.
you were just solo at home, knocking everything out by yourself.
Just taking phone calls every day and closing deals every day. That was basically it.
Before your office manager, no VA.
No VA. I'm not a big advocate of VAs. It's it's like teaching a kid how to work a computer for the first time. It wasn't for me.
Makes sense. It's definitely not for everybody, especially if you want to learn all aspects and avenues of the business more than just the basics. Then not going the VA route definitely is better, but it does put more stress on you because you could offload some stuff.
I
But
would definitely recommend anyone learn the business in and out 100% all the way before you hire anybody, whether if that's a VA or not. Even when we first started, I did the first 5 cleans myself. I got our first 5-star reviews on Yelp and Google. You know what I mean? I'm a manly man. I can't clean that well, but I did the first couple ones. I didn't even know what a baseboard was until we until I figured out what it was in a giant mini mansion that we did a move and move out cleaning for. It's just you got to learn. And there's no better way to learn than just to do it, whether if that's sales, marketing, cleaning, or anything in between. You just have to do it, and that's the best way to learn is to have experience, I would say.
absolutely, especially if you're not trying to do this as a side hustle, say you have like a part-time job and you got more extra time, but little money saved up, definitely do the cleans yourself.
You can
Take,
make so much money. I made $150 an hour basically cleaning with someone helping me, just doing it
yeah,
myself.
you
Yeah.
could start with the $27 a month plan with us and then just throw yourself in as a provider, start posting on Facebook groups for free,
Mhm.
and you could get 5K a month within your first month if you get the right people.
Yeah, 5K a month is 20 cleans. We do that about every day. 20 cleans a day, that's about $5,000 in revenue.
Yeah, it's definitely huge for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money saved up, and who wants to learn. Because how are you going to know how to guide your providers
Yeah.
in mistakes if you don't kind of know? I mean, everybody can clean their own place, but how well are you going to do it? Because it's your own, you know.
Yeah. And it'd be a good way for someone who's new to be able to keep the consistency when you do go to grow and scale, right? It's how do you keep the consistency if you're doing 20 houses a day? Well, you do the same job every single time, the same way. You start the same way, you finish the same way. It's the same job every time. You know what I mean? It's no crazy extras, no crazy personalized services, no crazy custom quotes. It's the same job, the same way every single time with maybe a couple different variations. That's basically what we do. We only offer 3 services, that's it.
And what are the three?
It's regular reoccurring cleaning, deep cleaning, move in, move out cleaning, and then we have add-ons for, like, what's not included in the net one service and or carpet cleaning as an addition, as a way to increase revenue, but we don't just carpet clean. That's only an addition if they get their house cleaned.
Do
So we
you
have
have
upsells.
but do you have extras like inside oven, microwave,
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Of course, yeah. If it's like a deep clean or a standard clean, if they want inside the oven, we'll upsell them. If they want us to organize, we'll upsell them. If they want us to do the windows and blinds on a standard clean, maybe if they're like a regular cleaning, we'll upsell them on that too. Yes.
Okay.
So,
So
it's kind of one of those things where, like, the way that I sell it to the customers, when we come out to do a deep clean, that's not something you need done every month or every quarter. That's once or twice a year, maybe on special occasions or during an event. But if you ever want some of those extra things, like for people with kids or dogs, if the dog licks the window, next time you want us to come out, we'll add $30. We'll clean the windows in the house as well while we're there. Just something small like that to, I guess, generate some extra revenue when they need it. And some people can do it right within BookingKoala. They log into their customer portal, they add it, and we approve it, and it's easy. The website made us 30 extra bucks that clean.
what do you absolutely stay away from or try to?
I stay away from porterhouses, 100%. And then when it comes to people who are wishy-washy on the phone, I don't self-book online. That's one thing I don't do. I know a lot of people like that, and Booking Koala is a great tool to do that, but I've hidden that on my website because I want to make sure that the expectations are set up. So I take every phone call that we have and I give them the rundown of what we would do just to make sure that there's no confusion, misunderstanding, not meeting their expectations on what it actually is that we would do when we come out to clean the house.
So you force them to call.
Force them to call. They cannot book online unless it was a quote that I sent, that I adjusted and or put all the parameters in that I sent to them. That's the only way that they can book online.
And that you already talked to them because you would need
Yes.
obviously various info from them for that.
Yes.
So okay.
That happens a lot. Like usually Monday, Tuesdays, I speak to maybe like 50 to 100 people. 3 or 4 of them self book online, or they all call Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to book something for next week after. And Booking Koala does a really good job in the reminders and then adding an offer just to kind of get them to I guess incentivize them to call back. So it's a nice flow, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Investment wise, when you first started, how much did you have saved up to get this going?
Like $1,500.
What did it go towards?
Went to cleaning supplies for myself to hand off to my first cleaner. That was it, honestly. And then hosting, the website, the LLC, like the basic fundamentals. It was $1,500 all in. It was like $250 for the LLC. It was a few $100s in cleaning supplies, and then a few $100s to get the website where I wanted it to be. I mean, obviously, I might have saved a couple bucks doing it myself, But there were some tools and whatnot that I paid for to help me expedite it and do it the right way.
And
And then
you said
marketing as
you have
well.
19 independent contractors.
Yep, we have 19 people working for us right now, just solely cleaning.
How quickly did it, or how long did it take you to get up to that number?
12 months. Yeah, it was kind of like a slow roll. It was like the first month, it was one person, then it was two, then it was four, then it was eight, then it was 12, then it was 16, and then we just got to 19.
Are you constantly hiring? Do you always have a hiring form up of some sort somewhere, or do you hire out enough and then just pause?
Um, it's a very fine line. The first couple months, I've hired and fired probably like 15 people. You know what I mean? Like just to try them out, test them out, make sure that I was learning too, because I was. To be honest, I was a terrible manager slash hiring manager. I just I'm very nice and I give everybody the chance and the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, sometimes it bites you in the butt to where you're too willing to go with someone. So that's one thing I would recommend everyone be a little bit more selective. Hire slow, fire fast. I mean, it took a lot of hiring and firing for the first core set of people, right? But now the one team that I have, they've been with us for about 11 months, and a couple other people have been with us for about 8 to 10 months. So I mean, we've been good and blessed to have enough people like us and stay with us and want to continue working with us, for months on end. So,
And all 19 are full time, or pretty much their schedules are full, or
100%, they're full. If you looked at my calendar right now, you'd see colors every which way. Yeah, we do at least two cleans a day. I would say 2 to 3 cleans, maybe four if they're very small or like apartments that are all in the same building.
okay. So, what unique value is your business bringing to the market when there's X number of cleaning services in every city?
What brought us value? I would say our
What
website.
unique value does your business bring to the
Yeah, I
market?
would say it's our website. It's our website and our marketing, nurturing campaigns, things like that. I mean, if you look up jaccleaners.com and compare it to Molly Maids, you couldn't tell the difference. You know what I mean? So, like, we look like we're a bigger company than we really were back then, but now we're competing with them. We took a pretty good market share value, or I guess market share percentage in just a few months. I'm sure they're wondering where their, 40 to 50 grand went. You know what I mean? So,
And
I would say
you're only in Ohio,
just in Cleveland, Ohio,
just
northeast.
in Cleveland.
Yeah, in like a 40-mile radius of Ohio. Yes, of Cleveland. Yes, we
That's
haven't even expanded or even tried to expand to another city just yet.
I
We haven't
mean,
even
I'm
expanded our
still
service
wrapping my
area.
head I'm still wrapping my head around it. You're in Cleveland with 19 providers and you're doing a million, 1.2 a year, or about to.
Yeah, we'll do over 1 million this year for sure. We're at like $600,000 for the year so far, and I mean, if we're at this trajectory, we'll be right at 950, $100,000 from what I'm forecasting.
That's incredible. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced so far as an owner, and how'd you overcome them?
Hiring. That's it. It's just the trial and error and the willingness to not to give up when someone no calls, no shows, cancels, can't make it, and being able to do what's best for the customer when that does happen. Like today, we have fires every day. We have so many cleans going on, so many things. A cleaner couldn't make it. The girl had babysitting issues. Okay, well, I did everything I could to get another team out there, and the lady didn't like that team. She was upset, sent them away. We ended up doing a free reschedule, got her back on the schedule for Monday at like 3 o'clock. So another team will just have to work a little later, but you got to do what's right for the client. I mean, that's honestly it at the end of the day. But the biggest struggle is just managing the day to day. Honestly, that's it. Managing the schedule, making sure the providers have all the cleans that they need to work a full 35, 45 hours a week, and making sure that they are happy, I guess, is another thing too. If you can make, because a cleaning business is zero without someone to clean for you or without multiple people to clean for you. I
Absolutely.
couldn't, I'm on the phone 24/7 all day long. there's been 3 phone calls that came in since we jumped on this call, you know what I mean? Like, I could not handle cleaning and taking phone calls and acquiring new customers if I didn't have the right people in place to be able to provide and also count on them. Like, if God forbid, if every cleaner quit today, I mean, I would have 140 cleans that need to be done next week. I would never be able to get it done. It's just managing the cleaners is the biggest struggle.
Though, I mean, 3 calls in 20 minutes so far, and I'm sure it's going to just start shooting up from there.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
book about 10 cleans a day right now.
you're booking 10 a day.
Yeah, booking 10 a day is our goal. Obviously, it's a range. There might be some days where we do 15. There might be some days where we do 5. But on average, it's about 10 a day is my goal on new clients to acquire.
Do you do anything differently to get those first timers in, or
I always give them something off the top, a little incentive, a little trial and error, a little guarantee. We offer a 100% money guarantee, I guess, refund if they don't like their clean whatsoever at all. It's a very big, bold claim to do, especially in this industry, but we have enough revenue going on right now to where if someone doesn't like their $250 clean, we can give them their money back and just trying us out. But that's only ever happened like once or twice in the last 2-3 months. So
so people aren't abusing it?
no, no. I mean, to be honest, we do a rock solid job. If you look at our reviews, I mean, I think we have over 300 positive reviews right now in just a year, and maybe only like 4 or 5 one star ratings. So,
You've
we
got 300 5-star reviews in a year.
yeah, across all platforms. I think we're at 164 on Google, about 55 on Angie's, about 30 on Yelp, and then Home Advisor, we have a few there. BBB, we have a few there, and overall, it's about 300.
Incredible stuff. How would you differentiate your business from your competitors? Because at this point, everybody's got a website. Mostly everybody has online booking, whether it's enabled or not, like yourself. So
Mhm.
what's different with yours?
It has to be our marketing. Everybody can have a website, no doubt, right? Everybody can have a website, but it's the type of website, right? If you look at some people's websites, they're not the best. I guess it's online presence, I would say. If you were to look up house cleaning services and or even contractors, roofers. If you look online, who are you going to go with? The guy who has the good reviews and a nice looking website and he's everywhere to be found on the internet, or are you going to go with the one random guy that you found on Facebook? I guess that's the thing too. It's to be everywhere and be well known instead of just doing a perfect job every time.
Absolutely. And then you're talking about marketing. So what are your strategies to attract and retain those customers? What is different about your marketing strategies?
So I actually have a tool that I've created slash customized. It's like my version of high level. So I'm sure everybody's knows about Go High Level now. But I've customized it and I have a couple of YouTube videos about it, like how to use it for cleaning businesses. But I've customized it to where when a lead comes in from XYZ channels, it goes into a bucket. If when I call them, if they answer, if they don't answer, if a quote is sent, then different flows happen. So if they've answered, a segment of communication goes out over a couple weeks. If they didn't answer, the same thing happens. If I sent out a quote, it follows up with them for about a week just to keep us on top of mind for the customer. It's that way to kind of personalize your outreach to them, but to do it at a mass scale. So I'm not calling 400 people every single day. The system's emailing them, texting them, calling them, sending them a voicemail just to say, hey, it's Richard reaching out. Wanted to see what you thought about that quote. Hey, it's Richard reaching out. You haven't booked with us yet. Can you tell me what it is? Is it price or is it something that I didn't go over? Or hey, I know we haven't booked anything just yet, but would $50 help you, book something today? That type of flow and system has really worked out well to where we have a lot of people calling to us. You know what I mean? I don't have to always call out every single time because they get my message, they get my email, they get my voicemail, and then they call back and want to speak with me and say, "Hey, Richard just called me. Can I speak with them?"
That's great. Do you have a specific marketing campaign in mind that was super successful that you remember?
I would say we did a Christmas deal, and all it was get $50 off of a deep one-time deep clean. That was it, and I think we booked like 30, 40 cleans in one day. And we had a lot of cancellations, so that's why I sent out the marketing campaign. But I mean, out of like I think it was like 1750 people that was in my email list right about there. I sent it out and I booked 30, 40 of them. And I filled up the schedule for the month. That was my first time ever being booked 2, 3, about 2, 3 weeks out. But that I also only had 6 people working for me then, so that's when I started to really ramp up the hiring. I'm like, wait a second, this has something going on. Just even if you offer a little bit, a lot of people when they're calling for cleaning companies, they price shop a lot, and you could be beat out by someone for 10, 15, $20. And
Right.
I mean, it's the worst thing because they end up coming back to you eventually one day and say, hey, that company that cleaned my house for $100, they're terrible. Let's work with you now. But if you could stop that and mitigate that, objection, if it's just about price, you can get them back in and do a good job and give them a little bit off the top so you can retain them down the line and increase that lifetime value of that customer.
Absolutely. Especially if you know that they're already talking about being a recurring customer.
Yeah.
Even if you break even or gotta eat a little bit of cost on that first clean, second clean, you'll either break even or start to get a little profit. And then third clean, you're in pure green. So, like you said, mitigate that 2 month span by just giving them something off the top initially
Yeah.
and lock them down.
And even for like if something ever did go negative or wrong in a house, if you can say, "Hey, this cleans on me," or "Hey, we'll come back out and clean your whole house for free next month," or just something to give them in as an apology or the way to make it up. I've had so many chances with customers where they gave us a second chance, and that's why we're at $60,000 a month in regular reoccurring revenue. Because I gave them a free clean, or I gave them 50% off, or I just gave them a little bit of money, to try us out just one more time to give us that chance to win them back. And that right there too. Sometimes it's just the cleaners and the client, they just don't mesh, they don't click. The connection's not there. Try out another team. Or hey, they missed the blinds or they missed the toilet or something. If it's a giant house, oh hey, I apologize. Here's $50 for that bathroom that we missed, or here 50% off the next clean. A lot of people, it's sad that a lot of people are motivated by money. But I mean, that's the biggest differentiator on why they would work with you or not is if they felt like they got the value that they got out of the money that they spent with you.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that you've only had with your 100% money back guarantee that it's only been one or two times in the last couple months. Because there's a lot of people who would just shop around, hit on your homepage, see
Yeah.
that, and be like, all right, I'll book it. And then I'll just literally make a couple spots dirty right after they leave that I'll clean up and then call in and be like, oh, you missed this, you missed this. I want my money back.
Yeah, you would think, but if you run an honest business, you'll attract honest clients. That's what I think, and I have clients that call in all the time. I give them $50 off, or like, hey, your website says you'll give us 20% off. I'm like, sure, if you saw that, by all means, I'll give it to you, even if I don't believe that they saw it or not. But just to give them what's the best interest for them, right? If you can help them save a couple bucks, and I always tell that to people too. If I can help you save a couple dollars, I always will. And people are like, oh wow, I really appreciate that. Even if it's nothing too big on my end, it's not too big of a cost or an expense for me to eat. But like I said, even if 25, $50, $75 goes a long way for someone who's trying you out for the first time.
How do you stay updated on the industry? Trends, developments, anything like that? What are your
I
top two biggest places?
And Google. I just Google all the time or YouTube, and I just try to continuously understand what the competition's doing. What are some of their prices? Where are they popping up? What's their website doing? And just constantly trying to, I guess the biggest form of flattery is mimicry, and just seeing who's copying me or who I can copy to kind of keep up with the Joneses, if that makes sense.
Have you seen copycats in your area yet?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, I know I've been very nice with you guys at BookingKoala. I've let you guys copy my form quite a bit, for other people. But, there's plenty of people. I think there's a company out in Florida, that literally has copied my website and even my logo and, basically made it their own. So, it happens. Nothing that, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's nice that it just makes me seem more relevant or more, I guess, present in the industry when people do copy it, from time to time. That people think we're a big company, maybe because they see so many people who are kind of alike.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah.
The only issue I would say is if they're doing shoddy work and,
Mhm.
trying to scam people, then somebody comes after you and they think it's you, they'll start leaving you negative reviews. But again, it can happen to anybody and it could even happen without your knowledge. But
Yeah,
it's not much you can do, but all the necessary legal paperwork to cover your butt
yeah.
and then go after them if it does.
Yeah, that's why you got always got to have a copyright, especially when you start to make real money, have some sort of way to not allow people to infringe on your name or your colors or your wording or your promotions, that type of thing, just kind of save your intellectual property in some way, shape, or form. So
Absolutely. Financial management and planning within the business. What's your approach on it?
spend every dollar I can to reinvest and grow bigger, double down on what's working and continue to scale until I can't scale anymore.
Do you take a personal salary?
Now I do. Yes, I just started when the sales guy started, just about a month ago. I don't pay myself too much, but it's enough to live off of while I continue to scale the business up.
And you don't have another job because you're fully in this, or do
Yeah,
you?
I'm all in. I mean, I own a property, but I only make probably like 500-600 bucks a month in net profit from that, but it's not much. I had some money saved for my other expeditions and business. But I really don't live too much of a luxurious life. Besides the kids, I only need about 60 grand to survive. You know what I mean? I don't need anything else. As long as they can eat and they have nice things, that's all that matters.
For sure. And then later on, when you sell the business, then you'll have, if you do plan on selling it,
Maybe.
if that's in your thought process for that.
Yeah, my goal is once I get to about like 150, whatever we could do a month, that will be my yearly salary, I guess. Well, but I have a goal at first to get to 150, and then I'll pay myself a nice salary once we do that. So
I mean, the rate that you're moving, I'm thinking it'll be that's going to be a nice Christmas gift to yourself, probably even sooner.
yeah, that's what I was hoping by like January of 2024. Then pay my try to experience or enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. Then
Absolutely. Can you share experience where you had to make a tough decision that had a significant impact on the business?
um I would say the biggest tough decision was to know when to hire someone to help me out. I was burnt out a lot. There were days where when I was working from home, and I guess that's another thing too, is when to take it from a home based business to an office. I mean, I have kids, so maybe I don't have the luxury to have peace and quiet at home, but it was a big expense, and I was nervous to sign a year long lease for a business that was still new. So it was the to take that risk and to sign a lease and to spend $10,000 on office furniture to move in. You know what I mean? It was a really gut wrenching payment to make, but it's built up our confidence. It's built up our presence. I mean, we get more phone calls from Google My Business than ever when people search us up and they don't see we're at someone's house. We're on the street in this office building. That I would say that was when the organic phone calls skyrocketed. You know what I mean? Our website lead form skyrocketed. Our inbound phone call skyrocketed is when we moved from home base to it could just be like an office, even if it's virtual for somebody. But just to have that presence that we're a company, like a real company that's on the front lines and not just out of someone's home.
Do you publicize your address for your office?
Yes, we do. my home address was publicized even before we moved. I didn't. No one was going to show up to my house to get their house cleaned. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I wasn't nervous, and I've always done that for my businesses when they were home based. I didn't really mind too much, but yeah, I wanted people to know, hey, we're in your backyard. We're in your backyard. We're here. We're a real company. We're here to help. Like, call us. That was the biggest thing. We're here to help. Call us.
It definitely does give them peace of mind if they're Googling the business and they see a house pop up as the business address. I mean, some people probably are a little thrown off, but then they're like, okay, it's a family run. They're doing it out of their house.
Yeah,
I clearly know where they live. If
yeah.
anything goes wrong, God forbid they showed up, but thank God nobody did.
And I was honest too. That's the biggest thing. Be honest. When someone would ask, especially for those higher end clients that would pay 3, 4, $500 a month, where are you located? Hey, we actually run the business out of our house. We're still small, we're family owned, and people would respect it and like that idea and feel comfortable enough that I was honest enough to tell them over the phone that that's the setup that we had.
And when you talk to your customers, are you trying to get as much info out in a short amount of time, or are you trying to gather as much info and don't really care how long it takes?
I don't really care how long it takes. Because I don't do any on-site visits unless it's a big house. Where I know that the money would be worth it. But I mean, if it's like $150 every other week, once a month, I'm not visiting the house. I'll ask a lot of questions. 10, 15 minute phone call. Ask as many questions as I can. I don't sell them on JAC Cleaners at all whatsoever. I don't even bring up our name when we're on the phone. You know what I mean? Besides when they first answer. But it's focused about them, what they want, what they need. And then when I say, okay, well, our deep clean would match well with what you're looking for, this is what we would do. Make sure everything aligns and then go for the close.
And what would you say your success rate closing on that initial phone call is roughly
Overall, we're closing at about 40, 45%.
on the initial phone call?
Like overall, like out of
Overall, okay.
400 leads that came in last month, we closed at 44.6%. Um, the chances, and it depends on where the lead comes from, right? And whether if I called them for the first time or they called me, inbound phone calls is probably closer to like 60, 70%. If I'm calling out, probably closer to 20, 30%. And then if it's like a quoted lead, that's probably more like 50% borderline that'll get the job.
You got your numbers down. So definitely you're tracking everything.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And you need to. I mean,
Yeah. Any business owner should be able to tell you exactly how much it costs you for a lead, how much it should cost on average for a service, like how much revenue you're doing today. Like today, if you ask me how much we're doing in revenue, we're doing $4,400 this today. You know what I mean? Like any business owner should know their numbers like that.
even
And I
if you
track
hate them,
everything.
even if you hate number, I mean, those are numbers that you would learn to love for
Yeah.
sure. Those aren't numbers you hate.
Even the numbers
It,
that you paid, refunds. I know we did about $1,200 in refunds last month. I know the good, the bad, and everything in between. I know how much Stripe charged us last month in credit card processing fees. I need to know those things to make informed decisions on the fly on what the business can and cannot do or afford or is it capable of.
you make more informed decisions the more information you have, clearly. So
100%.
as it's going to take time to know what to look for and to start memorizing all these numbers, especially in the beginning when you're slow and you're not doing a lot of cleanings, not a lot of bookings, whatever. um, but over time, I agree with you 100%. Knowing every aspect, where every dollar is going, where it's coming from, to do what, that's the only way you'll know your growth
Yeah.
and know how to grow.
Hmm. Yeah. And you should
So
also know your customers too. Like, nowadays, it's hard for me to keep up, but I still know almost every day one customer that we've ever had. If you gave me a list of our customers, I can tell you, yeah, we serviced their house dozens of times. Or, oh, that's someone new. I don't even know who they are. So sometimes that happens too when someone self books. I'm like, oh, wait a second, I've never spoke with them. But no, you should know as much as you possibly can going on day to day until you physically cannot manage it. I would say.
Absolutely.
Should be embraced in the business. And that's another thing too, for like there's been a lot of people that I've spoke with in the cleaning industry, like the biggest differentiator from myself from someone else who's starting is I jumped in head first, no life jacket into the ocean. You know what I mean? Like I was committed to make it happen and I just engulfed myself in the business, right? I'm obsessed. I love it. I probably talk more about cleaning than I do about my kids from time to time. You know what I mean? Because that's it. I can't, this is my life now, and this is what I'm going to continue to grow and see how far I can take it until maybe one day I might sell, or one day I might expand to every major city, or who knows. I don't know what it can do. My first goal was to reach $1 million, and I always felt that at my fingertips I'm there. You know what I mean? It's now I gotta create more goals to shatter. So
What's the population of Cleveland?
I have no idea. If I was to look up population in Northeast Ohio, 3.6 million people.
So slightly more than Chicago.
And that's covering like all the way to Erie. We don't even cover that. So we're probably more like 2.5. Summit County, all that stuff. We don't really service there. We're right now we're probably in the market of like 2.5 million.
And how many cleaning services would you say are in doing the same area as you?
People who advertise on average is about 10 to 15 on like Google LSA, Google My Business, Angie's List, maybe 20. But there's probably 50 to 75 just small mom pop and shop type of people out there.
Right.
Your
The
aunt and your uncle
one-time independent contractors that are just
yeah,
dropping their phone number and
or
behind a
Dazzling
business
Clean and
card.
Home Aglow that are undercutting everyone and doing the worst job in the world.
And it continues. I
Yeah.
mean, it'll always kind of be like that. That's just kind of the nature of the business. But for you being so immersed in it and loving it, where you're almost talking more about cleaning than your kids, I mean, it's not a sexy industry by any means. It's not an industry that a lot of people go bragging about having a business in, but the consistency in it and the growth potential is bar none, I feel, better than anything else you could do right now between
Of course.
product, drop shipping, all that stuff.
Because it's a real business. It's not something that you can outsource or buy from China. It's real people doing real services, and it's sexy when it comes to the money that we make. That's what's sexy. The cleaning is not sexy. That stuff is not fun, but the operations, the customer flow, the calls, the reputation, like all of that stuff is phenomenal. That stuff's fun. It's easy. It's a lot to get into, and how to do it better than someone else. Or the funnest thing to me is I've already booked with someone. I'm taken care of. Okay, well, you didn't even hear my quote, and I always am able to rebuttal and steal a client from someone else that was already booked with someone else. I do that 5, 6 times a week, and that's fun. That's exciting because there's a lot of people that just take orders. You know what I mean? I guess that's another thing that differentiates us. People just take orders, right? They say, "Oh, okay." They charge by the hour. They do this. They take orders for what is wanted or needed for a house. But we sell them, right? I sell them, and people like that. Where they feel comfortable, they're excited, they're ready to work with us instead of anyone else.
And that's your, like you said, that's your huge advantage because you're getting personal with them on the phone
Yes.
call. You're learning everything about their home.
What they like, what they don't like, what's their pain points, what is their current cleaning company not doing. I even ask the tough questions. Who are you working with? How much are they charging you? What do they do wrong? What can we do right? Like just the little things, it's all about them. It's customer centric, customer focused. I don't even care what JAC Cleaners is or who we are. It's about what I can do for that customer at that second.
And that's all it takes.
That's
That's
literally it.
that's
Customer
all it
service
takes.
goes the longest way.
I feel a lot of people who struggle with marketing, and I wouldn't necessarily fully say fully struggling with marketing, but full like closing leads.
If they
Are
ask
they
more
doing
questions, they
are
would
you
close
doing
more.
that? Are exactly like are you asking the right questions? Are you being like a robot on the call and just trying to fire off a checklist of questions, get the answers, and then pray that they're going to book with you because you said the right things? It's not going to work better than getting personal with them.
And that's why a VA doesn't work, in my opinion. I've tried it. I've hired 3, 4, 5 VAs. I let them take phone calls, and it's choppy. Nothing. I mean, it's nothing. You're just reading off a script. It doesn't work. And even on the phone when I talk with someone, if I'm having a bad day, I'll tell them I'm having a bad day. We joke about it, we laugh, and sometimes some of the old sweet ladies, they call me every now and then just to check up on me. Hey, Richard, is your day going better? I have a client. Her name's Chi Chi. She calls me once a month. I booked her 6 months ago. Hey, Richard, I just want to know how you're doing. You know what I mean? It's just joking with them, being open and honest, and just saying, "Hey, I'm sick today. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I hope you feel better." That little thing, and then we talk and we communicate and build rapport in 30 seconds, and then they're like, "Let's go. Let's just do it." They
Customer
love
turns into family, and then they're with you forever.
100%.
So being so positive with your customers on the phone, what about the flip side? How are you fostering a positive company culture with your employees?
I am very personal with them. I text them every day, morning, midday, afternoon. Say, "Hey, let's have a great day. How are you doing? What's going on? Was the clean bad? Was it good?" Just to communicate with them, because we don't have the cleaners come to the office every day. They go from their house to their clean. And I just try to keep it so they feel important and wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just forgetting about them, if that makes sense. I'm asking them how's their day going, what are they doing, what's going on. I try to learn more about them, like what their favorite food is, what kind of car they drive if they have kids, what side of town they live on, just to talk about things really quick too, and just have a conversation at least once a day.
They're
At
not
least
just
once a day with one of the crew members.
another cog in the machine
Yes.
for the business. You got to the more you treat them like family, the better results you're going to get for the business, they're going to get for the customer, and they're going to get for themselves in positive reviews. And I'm sure you showcase the reviews with whoever's name gets mentioned.
No.
Other customers see that, they're going to be like, all right, I want Susie or I want Jimmy,
Or
he's
they go,
got
"Oh, I was hoping you would say that name of the cleaner who's coming out." Yeah, I've had that a lot of times. I was
really,
hoping we would get Cassandra. Yeah, I was hoping we would get Ashley. And then when I pair them up and I tell them, like, "Hey, I think I always try to do that too. Like, pair up the customers and the providers to what you think would be the best match too. Because at the end of the day, if you have a group of cleaners. Like, I have some cleaners that are really good at move in, move out, or those deeper cleans, and I have some cleaners that are terrible for those situations. So even if you have a spot open, or even if you need the booking, or even if you need the money, like, it might be better to push it off one more day for someone that will do a good job, or one that will have a better report with that customer, to build that relationship, if that makes sense. Like, there's different
absolutely.
dynamics, and right now it feels like I'm the puzzle maker, and I'm just making the puzzle and just trying to put all the pieces together and seeing if they fit. And
You can't have you can't send an extrovert cleaner to an introvert business owner working out of his house who doesn't want to or speak, and the cleaner won't shut up. Like it's
I've had that. I swear I've had that, where they're like, the cleaning was great, but she just annoyed me. Like, can we get someone else? Sure, no problem. I'll find you someone who's a little bit more quiet and timid. But that's it. You need the diversity. To be honest, like, that's another thing. A diverse group of cleaners. Just so and then making sure that the cleaners work well together, because we only do pairs of two. We only have a couple. We have two cleaners that work solo, because I know that they would only work good solo. But like, everything is the two cleaners and then the client. Make sure that the three trifecta is a good fit.
and it helps. I mean, get obviously the cleaning done in half the time now that you're pairing them up.
Yes.
Are you but you also flip-flop pairings. They're not always stuck, or are they?
No, they're stuck with that
There's
that teammate is that's their team, right? So that's it. And there's like today we have 2 teams working together. So we have 4 girls at a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 3,000 square foot house. That should only take them 2.5 hours, 3 hours for them to all knock out together as one.
excellent. I mean, pairing is huge. Teams, pairing, I mean, however you can make it work if you're just starting or already been in business and trying to change things up, but exactly what you're doing is meshing personalities
Mhm.
within the team and also trying to match that with the customer, because your results for keeping that or converting them from a one time into a recurring, that helps exponentially, and
Yep.
then keeping it going from there on out is even more important.
And then sometimes you have to trial and error it, like there's been a couple times where like this one lady is a weekly clean. She loved these 2 girls that she had, but they were sick. I sent out another crew and they're like, wow, it's a world of difference. And to be honest, the other crew's not even as good as the other team, but she just loved them. She loved the talking, the communication. Like that's what did it for her, was the communication that she got from the other crew that came out while the one crew was sick. Now that's their weekly client. They switched clients. Sometimes you have to try it. I guess that's another thing. When you're in business, take risk, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But just see if another crew will be better. If you always get a client that always complains something small, something small, something small, like, hey, Miss Johnson, I would love for you to try out another team next week. Would that be okay with you? And just making sure that one, they're okay with you sending another group of girls or whatnot. But then two, just trying it out and seeing who would be that perfect puzzle piece for that client.
I remember one time I had a cleaning and the guy was nice, talked. I'll accept somebody who talks more than a quiet one,
Yep.
just because I'm more of an extrovert. But this guy he told me he was doing this on the side, and he wanted, like, he got in a rap, and then by the end of it, the last like 15 minutes, he stopped cleaning and was pushing his rap demo on me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the first and last time that you'll be here, because it's just it too much. But it's great to be able to make a connection like that with
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. And that I guess that was your cleaner that you hired?
It was somebody that I was in between cleaning companies, so it was like a one-time kinda test
Okay.
out the company, and
Oh, so the guy who cleaned your house.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, see,
not
that's
my
what
cleaning company, I don't have a cleaning company, yeah, this
yeah,
was
yeah.
somebody from my apartment, yeah.
Okay, see that's one thing, I guess. If you're gonna hire someone, for all the entrepreneurs watching this video, hire people that just do cleaning. Nothing with crazy aspirations to be an actor, an actress, a rapper, or an artist. Like, get someone that's going to clean and clean for you for a while and just focus on that. And then also make sure that their job only consists of cleaning. Don't let them handle customer service, booking new clients, doing any of that stuff. Like, let them focus on the one thing that they're good at, customer service, like while they're in the house, like that type of service. And then clean. That's it. Don't let them do anything else or do anything crazy, because I've had some people that have done similar things where they talked about some other business that they had on the side, that they did notaries or they did party rental stuff, and the client was just so confused on like what it was that we actually do, besides just cleaning, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it just less confusion. That
Yes.
nobody, so you want your house clean, some one or a couple people show up, and now you're getting confused as to
Yeah.
why one is rapping to you or giving you a deep
Yes.
CD and pushing other things. It just, I I agree. If you could hire people who are just focused and like straight minded on, okay, I'm applying for this position. This is my full focus. I'm not going to mess around when I'm on company time. get my work done as best as I can and don't screw up,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
How are you? I mean, I know you have the 100% money back refund, but what are the steps you take to ensure satisfaction for the customers, and how do you address complaints?
So step one would be our checklist. That's on our website. It's publicly available to every single person, and every booking confirmation it's also sent, right? And then two, set up the expectations. Go through the checklist with them briefly, quick 30-second spiel of what exactly it is that we do so they expect on what we are to do. And then two, make sure the girls do that checklist to the T. Because we've had some customers where on our checklist, a bullet point said clean inside the furniture for a standard clean. I told the girls don't do that, but the client read that, or they had like an old PDF. They said, well, it's here. So I was like, all right, just do it. You know what I mean? But just, like make sure that you do what you say you're going to do for the client, right? So make sure that they know the procedure, they know how to start a house, they know where to separate, where to go, and how to get things moving, right? So they're not wondering and walking around and saying, "Oh, where do we start?" Oh, well, they get overwhelmed, right? So they get in a house, they go to their starting points, they work their way from top to bottom or bottom up, and they get that job done in the same exact procedure every time. And then if something does happen, one, always try if it's through like a text or an email, always call the cleaner first to get their side of the story so you don't have to hang up on the customer. Call the cleaner. You have all the ammunition that you need right then and there to speak and handle the complaints in one shot. But to understand like what happened, why was this oven not done, or why is there dust on the house, or why is there footprints all over the floors? Sometimes it's contractors going in and out the house. Sometimes it's the client being very, very picky and or not understanding that we can't go 20 feet up in the air and dust that ceiling fan. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's little things like that. Like if you just call the cleaner and you then call the client, you could just handle it all in one go and understand like why that wasn't done. Oh, I apologize, ma'am. Like the ceiling fan was just way too high. We can't get on any ladders. But for the inconvenience, next time we come out, we'll throw in cleaning your windows for free. Whatever it might be to make them happy and not feel. I guess that's another thing. Don't belittle the customer or make them feel dumb. Like if they didn't know, it's probably because you didn't tell them. But make them feel like they won at the end of the conversation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like you don't make them feel dumb or like you won. You make them feel like they won and that you're dumb, I guess. Always make them feel better than when they first called.
Have you had any instances where you called the provider and just the story they told you was you could tell was bull crap, and
Yes.
you
Yeah, that
called the
another
customer
story.
and
Yeah, another story like yesterday, literally yesterday, I had a couple cleaners that said that there were bed bugs in a house. So I'm like, all right, let me go to it because I have this one group that always says bed bugs, bed bugs, bed bugs. I got tired of it. I said, I'm coming out there. And I went out there. There was not one bed bug in that whole entire house. And when I get there, they're not saying anything. They're very quiet, hush, hush. And the client's like, oh, I don't see any bed bugs either. I'm like, all right, girls, we're going to get to work and get this house done. And one of the girls ended up walking off the job, so she's getting let go at the end of the week. But it's just like you can't lie and say that something's wrong in the house, or lie and say that there's a reason why you can't clean it, and then for you to be checked on why that was not the case. It's very frustrating for some people for that type of conflict or that type of, I don't know how to explain it, that type of questioning, if that makes sense.
what do you think was the reasoning for them saying bed bug? They wanted
The
it
house
just
was dirty. It was bad. I mean, it was a dirty house, but that's what we get paid to do is clean dirty
right.
houses. So, it was just that they didn't want to clean that house for whatever reason. They were overwhelmed and they thought it was maybe too much. And they screamed bed bugs, but there was no bed bugs at all in that house whatsoever. I walked and looked in every single windowsill, cabinet, cupboard, drawer, behind things. I mean, there were curtains. There was nothing. It was a fly larva. That was the only bug I saw, and the mosquitoes. I mean, the house is by the lake. There's going to be mosquitoes throughout the whole entire house. I mean, it's
All
normal.
right.
I even had a girl that said she got bit by like a cockroach. The one day I was like, cockroaches don't bite. You know what I mean? It's just not the case. Like, just get your job done.
And it's not going to climb on you. It's going to run away from you.
I mean, in Cleveland, you'd be surprised. There's a lot more houses with cockroaches than you think, but I've seen them before, and they do not bite you whatsoever at all.
Yeah. How, with all this going on, how do you prioritize and manage your time as in the business as the business owner?
The first priority every single day is to make sure that the schedule can be executed to the T every single time, right? I look at this thing at least every hour, 2, 3, 4 times, just to make sure if I can throw an extra clean in, if I can maximize their time, if I can move a clean from one group to another to make the drive time easier. If I know a client is wishy washy, I'm going to call that guy every day until he picks up to confirm that he's good to go, so we don't have any last minute cancellations. I mean, my priority is the schedule and making sure the cleaners have a full day. That's my priority over everything else. Then on top of that, it's booking more cleans. Like right now, when we get off of this phone call, I got like 10 leads to probably call. I'm not going to call none of them until I figure out what to do for our next Friday. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to book any extra cleans if I have to move the schedule around and make sure that one next week is going to be smooth sailing, if that makes sense.
Don't want to get all these extra bookings in and try and cram them into
Yeah,
places and make your life harder, your cleaners harder, life harder, and then potentially have to call the customer back and reschedule.
100%. Yes, I hate that's the most stressful feeling in the world is to know that I'm booking more clients, but I shouldn't have booked them because Friday's jacked up and there's too many cleans that I need to now reschedule for Thursday or Saturday. You know what I mean? It's a terrible feeling. It's very overwhelming too.
I, of course, because then you gotta, if you already talked to them, you gotta call them back and apologize, and now move it to a different day, and hopefully they stay, and not be like, all right, never mind, I'm going to a different cleaning company. So
Yes.
you,
I was just going to say 33% of this business is just showing up when you say you're going to show up and don't be too late. That's it.
you basically, from what it sounds like, is you get all your ducks in a row and check them 5 times before you lock anything down.
Yes, 100%. I try to make things as easy as possible for everyone that's involved. The customer, the cleaner, you know, my sales guy to make sure that he can get the jobs fulfilled, like just make sure everything is easier for everyone, whether if that's a nightmare for me, I'm going to push through it and make it happen. Like another example, like Sunday, I thought I could take 24 hours off of the business. You know what happened? We had 5 cancellations come through for me not looking at my phone. That Sunday, I worked from 4 to 9 o'clock at night to make sure that we had Monday filled up for the girls to clean. You know what I mean? That was me banging out an extra 50 phone calls of people that I quoted and seeing what I can do to get them to work with us and give them an extra 25, $50 off to fill up those spots. So, but that's my priority. That's my goal. That's what I assure these cleaners that what they would get is a full schedule. I got to make sure that I can make it happen.
And like you said, even if it takes more work and a little bit more headache on your end, I feel like initially it is. But if you're locking that down and you have that flow perfect, again, even if it's a little bit more extra work for you in that initial setting,
Hmm.
it's a million times better than less work, kind of, I don't want to say sloppy, but unorganized way of doing it or just a different way of doing it. And then you're at that point, your providers are, I would say, on the fence with trust in a sense within the business, and as the business owner, like, okay, am I going to have a full schedule or not? Is it, am I going to make enough money this week for my bills, groceries, my kids, whatever? um and then again, that's building that rapport with the customers. If you can get everything as smooth as possible where they don't have to do a thing, and they don't have, unless they have to log in into their portal because some last minute appointment came up for them and they have to reschedule,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, and it's the worst feeling, when a provider was ready to work 8 hours and that clean canceled, and now they're out of money. They have bills to pay. I have a couple girls that work paycheck to paycheck, and it's my responsibility to make sure that they can get paid a full salary or a full 40 hours. I mean, it's a big responsibility, and now I know why not a lot of people run a business because it's a lot. But you have to stay ahead. You got to plan ahead. You don't plan to fail, you fail to plan. That's one of my biggest sayings that I like I am planned out to execute these cleans, and I'm going to make sure that I do everything I can to make sure that it happens. So
Especially if you hired fantastic cleaners who want to be working all the time, full
yeah,
hours, and then some, and then
yeah,
they can't. And then they start looking other places to
yeah, you can't
somebody
expect
or
them to stay
some.
with you.
Yeah, why would they?
Yeah.
They're going to look for a place that will give them that.
And you know what's crazy too? I've had that to where other cleaners have quit working with us, or I fire them. They try to go work for some other guy who started up a cleaning company. They can't work more than 5 jobs a week, or they can't do more than 3, 4 hours a day or something, and they're like, oh wow, Rich, like they suck. Like, what can I do to come back? And I gave some cleaners, second chances for them to come back and work with us, but that happens, where they think that they can go somewhere else and or do something and it doesn't work out. But then other businesses think that they can hire all of these providers, give them part-time hours and think that they can retain the talent, but they won't. They'll just come work for me instead of you. They'll
Or they'll poach.
yeah.
Even if you have a non-compete you could have all the paperwork with your providers. If they're not getting hours and you don't have that culture within the business
Mhm.
and that reputation with them, they could poach 2 customers a month for like 2, 3 months and then quit from you and live off those cleanings.
Yeah, and that happens. I've had that happen one time, and obviously you got to go through it and make it, do it the right way and the legal way. But I mean, it happens too. Your respect comes from both sides. They won't disrespect you if you don't disrespect them, and the best way to respect them is to give them what you promised. I'm a big advocate on trying to do what I say. You know what I mean? Just if I say that I'm going to do it, if I say that I can make that happen for you, I'm going to make it happen. Expectations, I guess, is the biggest thing. Expectations from all end, from everyone.
Absolutely. We already talked a little bit earlier, metrics and KPIs. What are your I I don't wanna give you a set but what are your 5, let's say 5 most important that you need to know that number daily?
My most important things, I would say, is my ad spend. I need to know how much I'm spending, what my cost per lead is from every single channel. We run ads on Angie's Ads. We do Google LSA. We do Yelp from time to time. We do Google search, and then even from other channels. I want to know how much I'm spending, how much does it cost to acquire that customer, and then what the average lifetime value of a customer might be, and what the average clean cost per clean is too. I would say those are the four main ones, and then what my overall monthly revenue is. I want to make sure that one, that we're hitting our goal, that we're doing our thing, and even the cleaners, when they start to try to call off or they can't make it, I'm saying, hey, the business has goals, and I want you guys to make money, but we can't hit our goals if it doesn't work out. And ever since I've implemented that type of transparency, I mean, there's less call offs, there's less no shows, there's less last minute cancellations too. Just to make sure they feel a part of what we're doing here, and to make sure that we all hit our monetary goals.
And you need it. You
Yeah,
need to have that openness, but I wouldn't call it sternness, just open. Be open with them
structure.
about yeah. Be open and make sure everybody's on the same page and the business will be unstoppable like yours. I mean,
I hope so. There's some days where it's stressful and it seems like it's a house of cards sometimes, but I mean, if you just work it, it will work. That's my thing. Hard work works. Just work. That's it. Don't take it easy. Don't take a day off. Don't do anything that the average person would do. Just do more than that person. Do more than the next.
There's what's that saying? Do 10% more than you did yesterday?
Yeah, if you want 10 times more in life, you got to do 10 times more than the average person.
100%. Competition, it's everywhere. How are you handling it in your area?
To be honest, I do not fear and or worry about the competition. I worry about what we do here at JAC Cleaners, and I mean, I keep up with them, right? But when someone says, "Oh, well, Cardinal Maids can do it for cheaper," or if someone says, "Oh, Molly Maids does it for this," I know for a fact Molly Maids is 10 times more expensive than us. But I just stay in our lane and I just focus on us. But when it comes to competition, the best thing that I do is just answer the phones when they come when the phones ring, and then reach out to the customer sooner than anyone else. Those are my two things. If I can do those, I'll always be ahead of the competition.
Answering the phone as fast as possible or getting back to the customer as fast as possible
Yes.
is the number one thing I hear from everybody I interview. It's because it truly is. If you're answering it right when they call and you get through that 10-15 minutes and get through all the information you need, get through objections, there's significantly less chance of you losing that customer versus missing the call and even calling them back 30 seconds later
No.
because it shows that someone's always there.
Well, and it's very transactional. If I don't pick up, they're going to go down the list and call the next person. If that person picks up, I mean, it could be the biggest job in the world or the smallest job. They just want to book it, And that's another thing. I think cleaning is very impulse based types of customers, right? My wife is nagging me about this house being dirty and she can't keep up. I'm getting a cleaning service right now to make her happy. Or my house is dirty because the real estate agent didn't get it cleaned. I'm calling whoever can come and clean it that picks up right now. You know what I mean? It's very impulsive types of decisions or decision makers, I would say. So if you can answer one, just book them while they're happy, while they're excited, while they're ready to book. Or if you wait, I have that happen too, where over the weekend, oh, I wanted to get my house clean. Oh, forget about it. I don't want it anymore. You know what I mean? Or I cleaned myself, or someone else got to it. If you wait, the longer you wait, every hour that you wait, your chances of getting that job reduces by 10%. I would say every hour. If you don't answer within the 24 hours, I mean it's done. You might as well burn money if that makes sense.
For sure, especially if you're paying for leads anywhere. Um, it's you're pissing away money.
Yeah,
It-
literally
it-
just burning it.
for sure. We already know that you're very open and connecting with your customers and providers, but describe the leadership style more and how it's clearly contributed to your success in the business.
I have tried to make it to where people don't think of me as their boss. We're working together. We're partners, right? And then there's always one lead cleaner and then the other cleaner that works under that cleaner. So to sorry, excuse me. Just to give guidance and leadership roles to those cleaners that work together, and then to have like one main cleaner for all of the cleaners to ask questions to, because like I tell them, I cannot clean to save my life. Please ask Ashley. You know what I mean? Or ask somebody else. Like I cannot tell you how to clean something. You know what I mean? But it's just ways to make it feel more like a collective, a collaboration than I'm your boss, you're gonna work and get paid type of environment.
And that's how it
Young
should
guy
be.
too. You know what I mean? That power complex might be hard to overcome for people who are a little older sometimes. So, I'm not that type of person where I demand respect. Respect should be earned and not
Earned.
given. Just to make it that we can collaborate and work together for a greater good.
That hierarchy, I guess, that with people who are older than a younger business owner, it's tricky. It's tricky to handle. It's tricky to manage. But like you said, don't expect respect from the person who you're hired just because you're the owner. That
Yeah.
no, it you have to give them a reason to respect you.
You got to lead by example too. Like when my business first started, I was waking up at 9 o'clock. That the day's already started. Cleans are already happening. And I would get back to the cleaners if they had questions 10, 15, 30 minutes late. You got to lead by example. I'm the first one in the office, and I'm usually the last one to leave. I'm the first one up to check on the girls and make sure they're good to go, and I'm the last one to check on them and call them if they need something in the evening. You know what I mean? Just to always show them that, like, hey, he does care about us. He's always there. He will answer any questions that we have. If we feel like we have questions about our pay, they feel open enough to ask me. If they have questions about a clean or trouble with the client, like, they can openly ask me at any given time, at any given moment, to be open and honest with me and let me know what's going on.
Honesty and transparency within everybody in the business is going to take you from here to the top
Yes.
faster than, wishy-washy, beating around the bush type of stuff, because you think you're doing right by them by not by keeping them in the dark. But it, even if it's something they
Yes.
don't like to hear, them knowing is better than not knowing and guessing what could be wrong.
100%. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Just be honest. That's it. Just if you're honest, good things will happen.
100%. What's approach to recruitment, training, development, um, 19 cleaners in a year? I mean, you said it already that it's kind of every month or every other month where you're almost doubling up or adding 4 or 5.
Yeah.
What's that approach?
It's just to find good people. Don't find good cleaners, I would say. You know what I mean? Like, anyone can really clean and anyone can be taught to clean. But what people can't be taught is respect, timeliness, just being able to be a good person. That stuff can't be taught. You can have a girl come out who's 18 years old and come out for a test clean and be the sweetest girl and the nicest girl, and the client loved her and she couldn't clean for crap. Give her a week and teach her how to get mildew off of a toilet, or mildew off of a faucet, and she'll be a pro in less than a couple weeks. You know what I mean? It's just things like that to know, like, who can be a good person, then who can be a good cleaner. I would say that's always been my approach.
What about what's the process? What's your hiring funnel?
So my process is, or I guess my channels would be, Indeed, free posting. Our website, we always have applications come in once or twice a week, and then word of mouth, like referrals. We have a lot of girls that work for us that have came from current employees that it's honestly worked out well. And try to find other people that have good, I guess, skill sets as them. But always a phone call. Sell them on why they want to work with us. Bring them in for an interview. Learn more about them. Sell them again why they should work for us, and then send them out on a test clean, a paid test clean if they get hired. So if they go out, they do a test clean. We see how they interact with other people, one, and then we see how they interact with the client, and then what their process is to clean, right? If they do a decent job and they're not, illiterate or brain dead, and they don't know, like, how to start things, just to make sure they have the basic fundamentals, the core, competencies that they would need to be a cleaner. That's what we look for. And if that all works out, we get them paired up with someone who really knows how to clean. So again, there's always one really good cleaner, and then someone that's so until they build themselves up.
That intuitiveness, knowing that they could think on their feet in case of emergency or whatever.
Yeah, or like when they think that there's bed bugs, they're not sitting there for an hour until I get there to tell them to get to work. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing it's hard. Or like when they don't know what to do and they wait 10, 15 minutes because they're scared to bring it up to you. Like, try to find someone who is not scared, who is willing to go above and beyond, and make it so, if that makes sense.
Right.
Someone who's competent.
Sustainability and environmentally friendly products. Do you use them? Are they extra or
mean, everything that we use is pet friendly and kid friendly. That's about it. We don't use harsh chemicals like bleach or Lysol or anything like that. Like it's usually Zep brands that's made for houses, right? We only use solutions that are made for houses, nothing that's made for commercial or anything like that. Like that's a whole separate category. But anything that I wouldn't use in my house, I wouldn't let the cleaners use in someone else's house.
How do you make sure that they're, I mean, you can't force them to buy it because they're independent contractors, but how do you
Check up
guide
on
them to?
Send them a list of what you would refer and or recommend, and obviously send the best deals. You know what I mean? Like the gallon of Zep products is always cheaper than buying little bottles of solutions every week. But encourage them and refer them to what you would prefer and what you would say is better, and then always check. Go on site, make sure like one, they're cleaning right, two, they have all the supplies they need, and then three, they're not doing things wrong. Because you'd be surprised. We had one girl that was with us for a month, and this chick cleaned everything in Murphy's oil. It was terrible.
Oh, dear Lord.
Stainless steel walls, baseboards, toilets, everything was Murphy's oil, just a bottle. Or one girl that everything was Fabuloso and it wasn't diluted. You know what I mean? It's little things like that. Like you don't know unless you're on site, and sometimes it's good to do on site visits or have someone do on site visits while they're cleaning. So, I mean, they could be doing good for a week or so, but if they were to do that in the wrong person's house, boy, would that be a bad review, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, and sometimes even they might not know, they might have just started cleaning and they don't know to dilute, a whole gallon of Fabuloso in water and put in a spray bottle or something.
You
But
should have seen these cabinets. It was like slime was on the cabinets. That's how thick it was when it sprayed out and bubbled up. It was disgusting.
or I've had a cleaner come by and use Windex for damn near everything. Light fixtures, vents, the door handles, everything besides the floor.
Yeah, it's very strange. I had one cleaner recently said that they use Dawn dish soap to clean windows, which it just streaks up. I said, I don't even know how that's possible. I said, don't do that anymore. Like use Windex, use a microfiber towel, and then use a paper towel to go over and grab the fuzz. Like, and see, I like that right there. I'm learning more about cleaning just day by day and understanding and talking to the cleaners. But like, there are some things like you have to just experience and see and understand like why this complaint keeps happening. We'll go on site and you'll find out. Or why does this issue keep popping up? We'll go on site and find out, or do it yourself and find a better solution.
It's the proactive owners that listen to the problems and try and, like you said, replicate it or find the solution versus questioning the cleaners constantly and being like, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. But how are they supposed to fix it if you don't even know how to fix it?
Yeah, and cleaners, honestly, they'll just say that they'll fix it or they'll do better, and they don't. But that's certain types of people too. Like there's workers and there's owners, right? And there's people who aspire to be an owner. So the people who are just workers, they're just going to do the same job every time until they're fired or let go or corrected hardly or harshly. You know what I mean? So there's different ways to manage and approach different situations for everyone. So you gotta know that fine line too, I guess.
Absolutely. Do you have any partnerships or collabs that have helped your growth?
No, no, not really. Honestly, it was just all by myself. That's it.
Even
No,
with other businesses, you haven't tried partnerships or networking in that way?
not at all. No,
Do you plan on it?
maybe if the right opportunity comes. But I'm a very solo entrepreneur, if that makes sense. I've always done everything myself, and it's hard to let go of certain things and allow people to make decisions and whatnot. So I'm still learning, and I mean, if there was a partnership, I mean, I guess you can say like when builders or new construction companies they need a house clean, I guess we clean them for them, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a partnership. We're just a vendor. You know what I mean? But it's just no real help along the way so far yet. I've been helping people. I help a lot of cleaning businesses from time to time when they call in and ask questions or even text us or email us and say, hey, your website's great, or hey, I see you use BookingKoala, or hey, your website's WordPress. Like, how do I do this? And after all of the influx of calls and emails and stuff like that, I started up a free Discord for everyone to join, and I have like 300 cleaning companies in there, and we chat every day from time to time, and I try to get back to them and help them out, in some way, shape, or form for free, because at the end of the day, I wish I didn't buy that course that I purchased, and someone just gave me a little advice for free, and I would have been at the same spot I did if I just had a couple questions answered instead of paying thousands of dollars for a course that did nothing.
The next boom, which isn't even the next because it's already been here, is gurus, whether it's marketing or sales or cleaning service or whatnot. Everybody and their mother is a guru now who's trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And my dad always asked, well, how could I learn more stuff? I don't want to pay for stuff. I'm like, two places, same owner, Google and YouTube.
Yes.
You could learn more on those two platforms than most universities will give. And
100%.
and if you just know what to look for, and even Facebook, join join Facebook groups, 10 a day, leave the ones that don't give you any value, comment a couple times or post a couple times and see what other free channels people give you, and then just go from there. You
You'd
will
be
learn so
surprised with
much
how
for
helpful people are. Like you said, Facebook groups, if you ask a question like the Booking Koala group, 20 million people will respond. Not all of them are correct, but at
right.
least you get some help and some guidance and understand what they're doing and what's right and what's wrong and kind of come up with your own method.
And that's what we try so hard with the group, is to minimize any sort of sales and no promotion, no spam. There are people who offer services to, like, if somebody's having trouble or was like, I will pay somebody to help me set XYZ up, somebody will be like, all right, DM me, and then
Yeah.
that's whatever, fine. But as much free information that we can give and as much as our users in our community, I've seen over the last 3 to 6 months, people who started 3 months ago or 6 months ago asking questions, they are now giving the same advice to people who are asking the questions now.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's amazing to see how quickly this community is growing and how helpful everybody is.
No. People are a lot more helpful than you would give them credit for. You'd be surprised. If you just ask for help from anyone, more odds people are more likely inclined to help you out than say no blatantly.
And one caveat, it does kind of depend where you're located in the world and what time you kind of post,
Yeah.
because if you're if you're overseas somewhere while we're all sleeping, while the US is sleeping, your chance of you getting an answer right away is obviously slimmer than if you post during the popular times. But
It
again,
also depends on the questions you ask because I see in the group sometimes there's some terrible questions and then they wonder why they don't get help. But it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you ask the right questions or if you keep asking the wrong questions, obviously no one's gonna help you out. But that's neither here or there.
and if you don't take the initiative to try and find the answer first, like, go to the help center or search the group. You could use the search tool within the group. I'm sure people have asked the same question 5 times already.
Or the
So,
people who ask every single question known to man, like run the business yourself, like it's hard enough to run a business. Why should we give you all the answers right away every time you ask? It's a fine line, but
it's the sometimes you could kind of see the people who ask specific questions, and not good specific questions, but there are just some of those questions where you read it and you're like, like you said, do you want me to run your business for you,
Yeah.
or what's going on here? Are you trying to get, is it, you're trying to figure out a get rich quick scheme here, but this is the furthest thing from that.
Yeah. You know what my favorite questions are? Like how to quote or how to price this job out. Just give me the job. I'll take it over for you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like little things like that. Like sometimes the internet and groups and social media, it's a lot easier to ask certain questions, but really in reality, you shouldn't ask certain questions. You know what I mean? Like you should try to do it yourself. You should fumble the ball a couple of times. You should fall down, bump your knee before you ask for help, if that makes sense. And then like I said too, sometimes people don't always give the right answer, you know, especially with a lot of those gurus that are out there. You know, don't take everyone's advice as a grain of salt. You know, like what I'm saying right now might not be the best fit for you. You know, you could do everything that I'm doing now in a different city and it would fail overnight. You got to make sure that you do what's best for you and you take all the information that you can get and make the most informed decision that you can. And the best way to do that is to gather all the knowledge, you know, Google, YouTube, books, going on groups, maybe signing up for a course or two to kind of see what other people are thinking, what's trending, what's popular, and then doing what's best for you at the end of the day. Don't just listen to one person and one person only and expect for it to work for you as like a cookie cutter, you know, cookie sheet type of deal.
You hit the nail on the head. You could pick 10 business owners out of the group, and out of the 10, they could all be running everything completely differently from each other, and yet the results and everything are the same.
Yeah.
Like you said, something that works for you in northern Ohio is not going to be the same for somebody in southern Florida or southern California. You know, like there are some marketing channels like Yelp works great for some cities and states, and in other places it doesn't. And maybe Thumbtack or Google is better. You know, it
Like
just
Angie's List. I use Angie's List, Angie's ads. I spend $4,000 a month with them. I made over $80,000 just from 18 grand in ad spend in the last 3 to 4 months. You know what I
And then
mean?
there's other
And
places where Angie's is dead, and
yeah,
people will spend 18,000 and not get
barely
any.
break even. Yeah, you know, and that's what I say. Don't listen to me. Don't do what I do. Use take my advice on like what to do and how to do it, but make it your own. You know what I mean? Like do it your way. Do it. Do you got to make those hard decisions on your own. I can't make them for you. I can give you advice on what I would do, but that doesn't mean that you should do it. You know, you gotta do what's right for you and what's right for your business, what's right for your customers, what's right for your contractors, your cleaners, your family. You know what I mean? You got to do what's right for you, and only you can make those decisions.
And another thing, it could be right in this moment, but a week later you'll find out that it wasn't right, but yet you still took the chance and you figured it out and you learned it, and now a week later you have a failure and yet a lesson at the same time where you won't make that mistake again. But
Uh-huh.
you'll know, and you don't have to worry about making that mistake because you already did it. But in that moment, you weren't thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be a mistake.
Yep.
This is what I think is right, and I'm gonna do it." And I pull the trigger, and then you
Yep.
find out it's not, and it's okay. Failures in any business are huge, as so long as you listen to them.
Yeah, you can't. You got to fail forward too. You know, like you can do everything right, or you can do everything wrong, and you can just still be successful at the end of the day. To be honest,
For sure. Work-life balance. How do you maintain that with 2 kids and
four kids.
4 kids?
Yeah,
How
I
do
don't
you
have one.
You don't have one?
Name Fridays and Saturdays. I don't work as much. Sunday mornings. It's Sunday afternoons to Friday. At the end of the day, I'm working 24/7. Taking phone calls. I'm going upstairs, locking the door, making sure the kids can't barge in. And I tell the clients, "Hey, I'm working from home. If you hear a kid scream, I apologize." But you know, like I'm working. I'm on my phone. I wake up in the middle of the night praying I don't have a cleaner saying that they can't make it into work. You know, like this morning, I had a cleaner complaining about their pay. When I called them in the morning, we talked it out, hashed it out. She got to work 30 minutes late, but she almost didn't show up. You know, it's just you got to stay on top of it. You gotta look at it from all aspects, 24/7, all the time. You know what I mean? To be honest, you really do. And if you don't go all in, it will never be an all in type of business for you, if that makes sense. I mean,
When
I just don't have that luxury yet to delegate all of the tasks that I would do to have some sort of time off yet, if that makes sense.
and it also depends on what type of business you want and the type of business owner you want to be and the type of work life balance you want to have. You got to figure that out in the very beginning before you get started
And what are
because
your goals and your timeline too? Like my goal and timeline was to hit 50K a month as fast as I can, right? Once I hit 50, now I want to hit 60. I want to hit 90. I want to hit 100. You know, like I'm applying as much gas to the fire as I can right now. And even if I took it a little bit slower, I could probably have had like an extra 50 to 100 grand in the bank. If I didn't put more gas in the fire, if I didn't reinvest in the business, I could have made a lot more money net profit. But I'm doing everything I can to go as fast as I possibly can, if that makes sense.
and knowing that in the beginning is going to help your journey exponentially learning wise because you're going to know okay that aligns with my goals and my outcome. This doesn't, so I'm not going to go with that. If you don't know what you want in the beginning, if you want to be kind of half half, or you kind of want to grow it within 6 months and get a VA and then start traveling and don't really care, that's great. But know that in the very beginning, know that early on, because knowing that is going to help you streamline everything as fast as possible or faster than not knowing.
Of course, you gotta plan, you gotta set goals. Like honestly, like you hear it all the time on motivational YouTube videos. Like you gotta plan, you gotta set goals. Like nothing, you can't I couldn't have gotten to 100K a month if I didn't have a goal and how to get to 100K a month. You know, like if I didn't have a plan, how would I get to 100K a month if I didn't have a plan? You know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't never have happened. So you got to do both of those things, and then the next thing is just to work as hard as it possibly as you can to make those goals realistic. Whether if that's working 10 hours a week or if it's working 100 hours a week. If that's what's in your goal and if that's what's in your plan, you got to do it. You
Grind it
can't
out.
stop. Yeah, you can't stop. Just be consistent. That's another thing. If I can give anyone advice, if you wake up today and you don't feel like making those phone calls to those leads or taking phone calls or dealing with your cleaners, do it anyways. It doesn't matter. The world doesn't stop just because you don't feel good. The cleaners aren't going to not work just because you don't feel good. The clients aren't going to book with you tomorrow just because you don't feel good today. Like even the worst days that I have, if I just like today was not a good day. I made it through. I booked 6 cleans before I talked to you, and I'm probably going to book a couple other. It's going to be a great day today. You know, what I mean, I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to to go home and spend some time with my kids. But I'm gonna push it through, and I'm gonna make it happen. And at the end of the day, it became a good day.
And it's not how you start the day, it's how you end it.
Yep.
It's like you said, mindset and knowing that you have to have that consistency and be consistent. Even if you're trying, doesn't have to be the if you're having a shitty day, you're having a shitty day. If your calls aren't 100% how you wanted them to be, but you still did them, that's fine. You still did them and you get everything what you need done, you know? So I agree completely that that consistency is massive.
That's the key to any business. It doesn't matter if it's trucking, if it's drop shipping, if it's YouTube automation. If you just continue to do something over time, it will work because like my goal right now, right? The recession is here, economy's bad, everything that could have possibly went wrong in politics or government or revenue wise, what IRS, everything is terrible. I'm pushing through, I'm making it happen. And at the end of the tunnel, when the economy's back, when we have a new president, hopefully, that does a little bit better of a job, and people have a little bit more money to spend, and everything's not so crazy expensive, all of those other cleaning companies that gave up, I'm there, I'm on top. All of that money that people have now, they're going to go and search and look for a cleaning company. They're going to come work with me because I'm still here. I didn't check out. I didn't leave. You know what I mean? That's just, you can, there's tons of businesses that are run shitty and terrible, and they suck. And you know why? They just stayed in business. You know, the plumbing company down the street that's been there for 15 years, ran by some old guy that doesn't know his anything. You know, he's still in business because he just never gave up. He just didn't stop, and his business is $1 million company, and no one knows how. It's just, he's there. He's a staple. It's just never going to go away.
Right. Let's go more towards the software side. What role does tech play in your business ops?
Everything. I would not be able to run and have as many hats as I have if I didn't have software to help me out. If I didn't have my Go High level set up to automate all of my nurturing follow up campaigns, if I didn't have BookingKoala to set out the notifications, the reminders, set up the booking, set up the schedule, set up the routes, the time. I mean, like, honestly, like, everything is automated and done for me and ready to go when I clock in and get to work. Honestly, software helps me do 10 different jobs by myself.
So you'd say it's 95% of your business.
I would say 99%.
And how long have you been using Booking Koala? Is it since you started?
You guys were the first software that I even picked out. I don't know why, I don't know how. I just was drawn to you guys, and I'm a big advocate. I think I've gotten hundreds of people to sign up for you guys just because you guys, one, the support is great, and then two, it's so easy to use if you just try to learn how to use it. You could do anything you want with it, but you got to learn how to use the tool. The tool can't just be used out the box, I would say.
There's a lot of features, there's a lot of configurations. It can be overwhelming, but there's a rhyme and reason to it. So you have that flexibility because, like you said, you can run your cleaning service one way, somebody else can run it a different way.
Yep.
You want to have that option, do it this way, they want to have it do it the other way. Other softwares are just locked and you can't make changes. And we saw it as, why not be able to be open and let people pick and choose how they want to have it run?
Course, yeah, and that's another thing. Not every business was run the same way, and they can all be successful. But you can't buy Booking Koala, or you can't buy some sort of software and expect it just to work for you. You got to learn how to work it. You know, I'm a big advocate on that. Just because someone gave you the keys to the car doesn't mean you know how to drive that car. You know, like, every car is a little bit different. Every tool is a little bit different. Everything is different, and the way you use your iPhone is different than the way I use it. You know what I mean? So it's just, you got to learn how to use the tool to make it most effective and efficient for you.
Absolutely. It's, what is that race that they're the 24-hour Le Mans? It's like, are you going to take a Prius to Le Mans, or are you going to have a Ferrari or Lamborghini? It's
Who knows? That guy who drives the Prius could have made it the way that he needed to be made, and it could work for him.
That's true.
You know, look at
That's
all the different cars that are out there that are modified. You know, like, it doesn't matter if it's a Lamborghini or if it's an old BMW or, you know, some, Miata. They can all go just about the same speed if you put the time and effort and customize it to how you like it to run, how you want it to run. I have a Jaguar F Type. There's been plenty of times I got beat by a Volkswagen Passat that had a twin turbo in it because the guy put it in there. You know, like, it's possible. There's no limits to anything if you put your mind to it.
absolutely like the customization. Tailor it to yourself, to what you need it to do, get it done, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
One feature that we have that you can't live without.
I would say it's the clock in and clock out notifications, just to make sure that the customer knows that we're on the way, and that when we do clock in, that saves me hours of communication every week. I would say I have tons of people where they call in and say, "Oh, they just clocked that they're on the way. Sorry." You know what I mean? Like, it's just a nice way to give them a quick reminder, or let them have a time frame of when we'll actually be on site and ready to service the house. That's
For
my
sure.
favorite.
One feature we don't have as of yet, but you wish we did.
Route management. get from one
That's
to the next in X amount of minutes, hours, or whatever it might be, or or who would be a good fit for it, right? Maybe like a suggestion, like, hey, this is near the nearest cleaner or the nearest next cleaner or something like that. I think that would be a powerful tool instead of, especially for people who have VAs that might not be familiar with the area. I think that would be a powerful tool if you guys had available for
definitely.
everyone.
I already know it's on the roadmap. It's coming. Can't give you a official date, but I know it's already in plans in the works, and it's something that will be coming 100%. Last question: advice you would give to yourself a year ago, or anybody watching right now that's on the fence.
Take the chance. Just do it. Jump, leap. Don't even think about it. No second chances, no remorse. Just do it.
Get,
Honestly.
get it over with.
Life is a gamble, whether if you're an W-2 employee, if you like to gamble, if you're in a relationship, nothing is ever guaranteed. Nothing is ever going to stay there forever. You just have to take a chance and make it your moment, I would say.
1,000,000%. Like we said, the amount of different ways that you could run the business, the amount of different ways you could start the business, whether it's yourself doing the cleans or hiring out immediately, whether you have a full-time job or a part-time job or no job.
Mhm.
This industry is for anybody and everybody as long as you give it the time, the patience, and like you said, dive in, no life jacket, just so you feel that little bit of pressure on your ass, and it'll push you tremendously.
Yes, sir. Diamonds can only be made by applying pressure, and honestly, like, if you can never make this a full-time business or any business full-time if you don't give it full-time effort. There was plenty of times where I worked 100 hours a week, booking phone calls, setting up the website, customizing BookingKoala, setting up the marketing, doing everything. All of that effort pays off down the line once you do it, when you just get it done. Sweat equity is the best type of equity that you could ever form in any business, whether if this is your business, your partner's business, showing your worth to become a partner in a business or whatever. Like, do the work, and that's the thing that people will never notice, but you'll always gain or reap the reward afterwards.
It's the foundation.
Yes.
You don't see any progress with a foundation. It's flat, but it's instrumental into success. You need the strongest foundation so you could build upon it and go from there.
Yes.
Richard, it was a pleasure catching up with you, and it's truly astonishing what you've done in the last year with your business and how far you've come. And massive congratulations from everybody at Booking Koala. And I know everybody who's going to be watching this story is going to be really, really mind blown. And I'm sure you might even get a couple friend requests and some messages on
Oh,
Facebook.
feel free to send them my way. But no, honestly, I thank you guys. Honestly, my business wouldn't be anything without Booking Koala being the lifeline blood tool that we use every single day.
And we appreciate that. Hopefully, we'll get you scheduled sometime, maybe next year or after that, and
Yeah.
you'll be running all of Ohio with
Oh,
your cleaning services.
we'll catch up again here in the next 12 months. Okay.
Absolutely.